Hello, good evening, and welcome to all my Friday frolickers, and I hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a lovely day, and I hope you've all managed to get over the cold snap. I hope it's starting to warm up where you all are, and welcome to my Friday frolic, where we basically just have a good giggle at people who shouldn't be taken seriously and shouldn't be anywhere. The political discord, I suppose you could say. But anyway, let's welcome who's in the chat and let's have a look. And good evening, my good friend Billy Kershaw. Hey up, Badgers, and good evening to my fantastic, one of my fantastic moderators, Alistair. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a good day. And get myself. Yes. Who else? Evelyn Humes. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day. Hope you're doing very, very well, and hope you've got something lovely planned for the weekend. Well, I must admit, I've got something planned for Sunday. I'm getting out of the house for a couple of hours. I haven't done it for a while, so so I'm quite happy, you know. It's like when you've got mobility problems like me, and you spend most of your time in the house, you can get a bit of cabin fever. But anyway, good evening, Jeannie Bottle. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day as well. Hope you've got something planned for the weekend as well. And yes, yes, Chris Wilson. Good. And hi from Scotland, and hello from Bradford. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a lovely day as well. Hope it's a lot warmer than what it has been. Oh, so I did hear a couple of weeks ago it was proper in the -12s and 13s and whatnot. Jesus, that is it's like. Where I say for the last week or two, I haven't been really producing much because of the cold weather, especially with my mobility problems. It really does affect me. And where I do all my recording and editing, it's it's in the coldest part of the house, and well, down here in Yorkshire or up Yorkshire if you're down south, it's. We have what you call a back hole. You know, well, say this was my grandma and granddad's house, and when we were kids, that part of the home was where the coal was slung in and for coal fire. So, but now, as I say, we don't have coal now, so it's now you could say my little office where all the magic or lack of magic, you could say, happens, but. But hopefully, come next week, start to warm up, get some more creative stuff done. It's like trying to keep warm in there. It was nigh and impossible, especially at reaching -2, -3 with my mobility problems and my nerve damage. It really, really does. Oh yeah, Chris. Yes, of course. Now I remember. Yes. It was good chatting with you as well. It was a really good afternoon, you know, good to catch up, and yes. And every day's a school day. I learned that you've got to cook your sprouts properly if you don't want to be parping. But yeah, as I say, it was in the back hall. It's just absolutely coldest part of the house, so I haven't been doing so much. Hopefully it's going to start to warm up, and I've got a couple of little bits of material that cooking about on my laptop, so I should be good to go for a lot better next week. But anyway, Yes, and good evening, good evening to my lovely daughter, God's last sis. Hope you've had a lovely day at. I've forgotten where it is you go now. Your little community thing. Hope you've had a good day there. Yes. Anybody else in the chat? Wolf Pet. Hope you well. Yes. Oh, busy, so just listening in. Don't worry about it, my friend. Good evening, Mad Monk. Another one of my fantastic moderators. Absolute gentleman is Mad Monk, especially is Alistair as well. Another absolute gentleman. Couldn't do these live streams without them. So big thumbs up to my moderators. Do a fantastic job. Anybody? Nobody else did. Eric Davison, hope you're well. Yes. And Simon says, I saw your little videos earlier on you sent me. Very funny, especially the cats in the snow. That was very, very funny. And speaking of being on the David McGuinness show on Christmas Day, the legend that is David McGuinness, hope you're well. If you're not subscribed to David McGuinness' channel, you need to. Because you'll always learn something. You'll always learn something on David McGuinness show. Be it about what's happening legislatively wise, or what's happening with Scottish independence. Like and subscribe. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot more than what I'll be just making silly noises and just taking the rise. And good evening, Stephen Bank here. Late to the party, but got here. Good evening. And happy Friday, Frolickers. Yes, exactly. Happy Friday, Frolickers. Don't worry, my friend. You've not missed anything. You've not missed anything at all. So don't worry. Scott, good evening, y'all. Hope you're well. Yeah, hope you're very, very, very well. Yes. Might see you on Politics Social later on, if you're up for it. I know you're a busy man. So, but good to see you. Good evening, Mark Telfer. 10-4 Rubber Ducks. Yes, 10-4 Rubber Ducks. Was that from Convoy? Was that the film Convoy? I'm sure it just reminded me of. Yes, I think we've pretty much. Yes, Mark Telfer. Reagan Elite, another one. If you've not subscribed to Reagan Elite's channel, you're always likely learn something. And if you're incredibly unlucky, he might have to ask me to stand in as a presenter because his professionals have let him down and he needs some complete donkey to fill in, you know. And it's usually me. You know, it's like when you play community football with all your mates in a field and, you know, you're picking sides. It's a choice between the static tree or me, and they usually pick the static tree, you know, 2 left feet and I'll fall over and score an own goal or let a goal in, you know. But if you want to learn something, there's not sign up, subscribe to Reagan Elite's channel. Always very informative, and you'll learn something very, very interesting. And he's very good at what he does. Steve Binning, and good evening, Steve Hornsby. Hope you're well, and welcome to my Friday frolic. Hope you've had a lovely day. And yes, Steve Binning, hope you're well. Good evening, folks. I was sorry to hear the sad death of the great David Lynch, who was one of my favourite film directors. Rest in peace. Yeah, I've seen a couple of pictures. Now, I'm not really one who's up on that much on films, so I didn't know what sort of films he'd done. But now, if my wife were here, she'd look at me with 1,000-yard stare and say, well, what about so-and-so film, so-and-so film, so-and-so film? I'm like, all right, did he direct that? Yes. She's more up. I'm usually looking for material for for my next project. Yes, woke up breathing, so things are okay. Well, that's the main thing, and it's got, you know, if you woke up still breathing, you know, you're gonna have a good day. Yes, but no worries, regular late. I always like to what you could say, you know, to get push the professionals, some of my subscribers, you know. They'll get more information than me. Good evening, Julie Brown. Yes, I'm very well. Hope you're very well, and hope you've had a lovely day. But anyway, it's I've been doing this for 10 minutes, and I think it's time we got cracking on this a little bit. And as I say, this is my Friday Frolic show where we basically just talk about, you know, we do it a little bit different to normal, you know, like you'll have Max and maybe Ed Thompson and Reagan Elite. They will give you some talking to points or what's happened during the day where you will be informed where this would just basically piss take. Because there are people out there who shouldn't be taken seriously, and no more than this clown. Does anybody recognise this clown? Yes, it's Mike Graham. Yes, I first came into contact with this complete clown years and years ago. Was I used to listen to Talk Sport, where him and his complete bell tap of a mate, Mike Parry. Now, if you don't know Mike Parry, you usually see him making an absolute Hampton of himself on Jeremy Vine's show or somewhere else where he talks some of the biggest load of tosh you've ever likely to see. Yes, absolutely, Scott. You know we're talking about Concrete Farmer, but we'll get to that later. But earlier on this week, in his infinite wisdom, this complete moron, he was, let's just say, he was doing his, I suppose what you would class as his show on whatever you call it, Talk TV, Sulk TV. I just call it shit TV, really. It's just shit, really. And let's just say, I'm not going to play his fucking nonsense. I'll just let you go. I'll just go through this little bit of an article where you go, Mike Graham ended up with egg on his face again after claiming Sir Keir Starmer had been snubbed ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. The Talk TV, I call it the shit TV presenter, who once famously claimed that you could grow concrete, we'll get to that later, criticised the Prime Minister after he wasn't invited to the event, even though political figures such as Reform UK leader Nigel Farage will be in attendance. I consider it to be a massive stain on British history that our Prime Minister will not be there, he said. Yes, obviously. But he has overlooked the fact that political leaders rarely, if ever, attend the inauguration of the US president. In fact, in the past, foreign leaders have been expressively forbidden from attending the day's event. For example, in 2009, ahead of the President-elect Barack Obama's inauguration, the State Department sent a letter to embassies saying, as in the past, foreign delegations will not be invited to Washington for this occasion. No British Prime Minister has ever attended the inauguration of a US president, which makes this clip even more entertaining. As I say, I'm not going to hurt your ears by listening to this complete fucking idiot, because let's be honest, we're going to hear enough of him a bit later on. So, but yes, he talks some of the utter biggest nonsense you'll ever likely to see. And let's just say but what I did like about so yeah, exactly, being on the motor. Julian, I once got stuck on my motorbike in the middle of a convoy of cows. Really scary. Jesus Christ, I can imagine that. Yes, I can imagine that'll have been really, really scary. Yeah, but yeah, good evening, global citizen. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Yes, and good evening, and I hope you're well. Good evening, nearly said Rotage then. Good evening, Roger. I just saw the Roger and Fartage at the same time, so I nearly said Rotage. Sorry about that, Roger. Yes, hope you're well. But yeah, as I say, you know, either he's been incredibly disingenuous or he's really that thick. And either way you look at it, he shouldn't have any place to be and, you know, have the political... In the political sphere of debate, should say, because he talks some of the biggest load of been called worse. So have I, Roger, so don't worry about it. But anyway, as I was looking through I noticed that the pork, and what I like about pork when it comes to these stories, they usually, yeah, absolutely, Scotty, is thick as mince, where they bring out some of the you could say tweets, and they're quite hilariously funny. I'm not going to go through but we're gonna, but let's have a little giggle at some of the you know. But you get some of the fantastic what you call them tweets from other people, you know, like barely politics, you know. As a rule, British prime ministers don't attend inauguration of US presidents. It's just not a thing. Mountains out of imaginary molehill comes to mind. I mean, yeah, it's as if, you know, if they'd have say something that Keir Starmer should do, and 30 seconds later he does it exactly to the letter, they'll still find something that he didn't do it right. He didn't say it right. His hair were in the wrong place. His suit wasn't loud enough, or and good afternoon, Joe Lefty. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day. Welcome to my Friday frolic as well. And of course we've got to have our wonderful Sir Larry the cat. Yes. Sir Larry cat check. There is no record of any British Prime Minister ever attending a US presidential inauguration, so the massive stain in British history has existed since 1789 and encompasses all 59 inaugural cemeteries, I nearly said there, ceremonies so far. And then there's yes, a massive stain on British history, according to the never intentionally informed Mike Graham, that for the 45th time in a row, the UK Prime Minister will not be at an event that no British Prime Minister ever attended. Yes, and as your presenter and production team, really just unaware that no British Prime Minister in the history of the USA ever yet attended a presidential inauguration. Was it a massive stain in our history in 2021, 2017, 2013, 2009, and onwards? Yes, it was, and like there's, you know, just curious. Mike Graham, since I presume that Talk TV hires these researchers for you and your colleagues, who was the last British Prime Minister invited to the inauguration of the US President? Because it's not really a major snub if none of your predecessors have been invited. I'll get my teeth in. Yes, and like this one, Prime Ministers don't usually attend presidential inaugurations. Mike, tell last time a British Prime Minister did so. Mandelson will have to go and grin and bear it. Absolutely. Spare a thought for our poor Peter Mandelson that will have to go over there and listen to the absolute bollocks and nonsense of this utter cretin and a clown. That was from Dominic Dyer. Yes, so, but you get the point, don't we? But let's be honest with our you could say let me get myself sorted. With our Mike Graham, let's watch what we all remember this, don't we? This is what he's known for. Let's sit back and enjoy and watch this utter complete cretin make a fool of himself. We all know what he's famous for, and he will always be remembered for. He could be involved in one of the most zinger gotcha interviews ever. Doesn't matter. He'll always be remembered for this, won't he?
Morning, Mike.
Oh, hello. What are you glued to, Cameron?
Just your screen, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. What do you do for a living,
Well,
Cameron?
I'm a carpenter.
A carpenter, right. So how safe is that for the climate?
Well, I work with timber, which is a much more sustainable material rather than concrete. I also
But you work with trees that have been cut down then, don't you?
It's a sustainable building practice.
How is it sustainable if you're killing trees?
Because it's regenerative, you can grow trees.
Right. Well, you can grow all sorts of things, can't you?
Well, you can't grow concrete.
It's like what?
You can.
What?
See you, Cameron. Cheerio. That was Cameron. He grows trees and then cuts them down and then makes things from them. Brilliant. Marvellous. I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
Morning, Mike.
Oh, hello. What are you glued to, Cameron?
Yeah, shut up, Mike. Yes, according to the absolute mentality of this complete utter cretin, you can grow concrete. Thank you, Hank. Oh, thank you for that, Hank. Very much appreciated. And good evening, Andrew. Good evening, Andrew. And yes, hope you're well, and hope I've had a lovely day. Quite right, Mark Telfer. Mike Graham, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to cosplay Therese Coffee. Not Ben Ding Dong, yes. Cameron, you're a disgrace. What a classic interview. This will still be kicking about in 30 years. Absolutely, Steve Bankier. Yes. It doesn't matter what he does from now. Good evening, Leapshin. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a fantastic day, and I hope you have a fantastic... I hope all my Friday frolickers have a fantastic weekend as well. But yeah, he will always be remembered as the man who said, you can actually grow concrete. And you can tell how much of a disaster it was. I don't know which show it were on the next day, but he walked onto their show to defend himself. If you weren't getting such an absolute hiding him for making yourself look a complete idiot, you wouldn't be on the show, a show earlier on the station that you were working on, to defend yourself, would you? But Maisha, this is not the first time that our man has made an idiot of himself. Has,
Well, if I was running the government or water.
yes. This is not the first time that he's made a complete tit of himself. It's like, since talk radio, I don't know if talk radio is still going. It's not something I watch, but Mike Poundland Churchill, yes, boom, spot on. It's not the only time he says the most ridiculous things. And let's just say, need to watch this to the end, because I've got the hilariously Moog adds a wonderful bit of hilarious touch at the end. You've got to sit down and watch this absolute hilarity just for the laughs. Brilliant from Moog. But this is where he says another silly thing.
Well, if I was running the government or water company, I'd figure a way of getting a hose into the sea and put it into the land.
Can you stupid.
Well, if I was running...
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's his... that would be his plan. Get a hose pipe to move water from the sea to land. What can you say? What can you say for that? Yes. You're not wrong, Steve Bannon. He's a complete fucking tit, isn't he? That's all he is. He's just an absolute moron. But let's just say that this statement speaks totally true to what he just said.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. What you just said...
Can't argue with that, can you? Yes. You'll get a lot of that. You'll notice a lot in, especially in some people in Parliament. Some of the most ridiculous stuff you'll ever see, and on TV shows, you know. Let's be honest, they shouldn't be allowed any airtime because they're just absolute cretins. You know, they're just absolute cretins who add nothing to political discourse. They're just there for clicks. Like, aren't they? Yes. I said, do you think my washing machine isn't working because I blocked the sink? Well, that doesn't sound too good, Julie, but I'll go on, mate. Anyway, I don't know if I said hello earlier, but if I do hope you're all well, and I do hope you get that your washing machine sorted and your sink sorted. But yes, he can't help but make a complete tit of himself. You're not wrong, yeah. Well, if the waste pipe is blocked up, then your washing machine may well be struggling. That's a good point. Yes. So, yes, according to Alistair Cape, yes. Julie Brown, yep, it's probably still got water in it. Get the drain cleared and then run it on a cycle. Good advice. Yes, I'm dreaming up of a viable plan to grow concrete, an ocean dead shell, animals, 300 million years on limestone, 300 million years limestone, part 1. Yes. Good evening, son of Viking. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. And long time no see. Hope you're very, very well. Good evening. Wake up and smell the rosaries. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day and hope you're going to have a lovely weekend too. But yeah. Somebody needs to say to him, the washing machine saga started on my show this morning. Oh dear, I'm so sorry, mate. Oh dear. My freezer stopped working because it went down to 7 degrees in the kitchen. Oh. You need a plumber. Took the plug hole out and now the pipe doesn't line up. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, I hope you get it sorted, Julie. So, really do, because it's the last thing you need to stress about, especially at the start of the year, do you? Anyway, you just don't know what to say. People like Mike Graham, and I remember when I used to listen to these two on the two mics on TalkSport, and Mike Graham was the sensible one. He was a sensible one. You will not believe it. But anyway, let's crack on. Now, we've all had the heard about the situation with Tulip Siddiq, and where I suppose you could say in a way that a position was, I don't know whether it was she could have held on or couldn't, because apparently from what I've heard she didn't break the ministerial code, but I suppose in a way it's a case of that if you're becoming a bit of a distraction, maybe she's probably done the right thing. But what makes me chuckle is that this made me chuckle on Wednesday when when our hapless leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, brought this situation up. Bringing Keir Starmer's what's the word? I had it in my mind that when it just leaves, yeah, not his character into question is. Oh, you're gonna have to help me out here, chat now. Oh, good evening, Stephen Stott. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I can't quite remember which film it came from, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will help you. But his thinking process into question. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. For hiring Tulip Siddiq and not firing her straight away, I suppose, in a way. Good evening, Daniel. Hope you're well. And good evening, Dennis Pennis. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a lovely day. But it shows you how bad she is as a leader of the opposition, because it was just so easy to just fire it back at her, wasn't she? Especially when she sat next to her shadow foreign secretary. But yeah, good evening, Stephen Stott. Hope you're very well. Yeah, Stephen Stott. Hope you're very well. But it was just so easy to fire back at her because she stood next to her equally hapless shadow foreign secretary after what she's been guilty of and didn't resign. But I found this little bit of a click. Is is the film called Judgment, Global Citizen? Is that what it is called? It's a film I've not watched, but I've seen the clip a few times. But I just found this little clip brilliant because it just basically highlights the absolute hypocrisy of the Tories.
Off the top of my head, Gavin Williamson was found by the Court of Appeal to have acted unlawfully when he removed safeguards for children in care at the start of the pandemic without consulting children's rights organisations. Under Boris Johnson's premiership, he stayed in his job. Michael Gove was found to have broken the law by awarding a £560,000 contract to a communications company called Public First, run by associates of himself and Dominic Cummings. High Court ruling described the decision as tainted by, quotes, apparent bias and was unlawful. Robert Jenrick, you'll remember, the Housing Secretary, accepted in May 2020 that his assistance to his role in helping a Tory party donor avoid paying £45 million was unlawful. Jenrick and Gove stayed in their jobs. And my favourite example of this was Priti Patel. She was found by an investigation to have broken the ministerial code by bullying Whitehall staff. The independent investigator found that she had done so. But, of course, she didn't just stay in her job, but Boris Johnson sent a WhatsApp group round saying we need to form a square around the Pritster. So such is the corruption of conservative cheerleading media in this country that we're in a situation where a Labour minister who was not found to have broken the ministerial code has resigned, and client journalists and various shills who stayed silent about a succession of Tory ministers found to have broken rules and laws and ministerial codes not resigning are somehow trying to make hay out of it. So two things can be true at the same time. Tulip Siddiq should never have been given that job. For relatively obvious reasons. Keir Starmer's, quotes, loyalty, end quotes, looks very double-edged when you consider the speed with which Louise Haigh was shown the door.
Now, I kind of agree with that. I do, because, like, he seemed quite quick to accept her resignation, didn't he? And Andrew N made an interesting point, and I think I kind of see where she was slightly coming from, because she seemed to speak in a more calm and less shouty manner. But Andrew Ennis thought she was professional, utterly ridiculous. It doesn't matter if he's because, like, it doesn't matter how professional he might. If you're still asking questions that are just easy to throw back at you, it doesn't matter how professional you look. You're just going to still look ridiculously stupid, aren't you? But at least we now have a semblance of accountability from the government. Good evening, Barry West. Hope you well. And good evening, Kieran. Hope you well. I don't know if Richard Murphy, you're aware how he's talking very negatively about economy, about under Labour lately. To be honest, I've not really watched a lot of what he has to say, really. I may read one or two of his articles, but no, I haven't really. I might watch, see what he actually says. But anyway.
But the fact that she could refer herself to an ethics advisor and the fact that she's resigned despite not having been found to have broken the ministerial code signals an incredibly different state of affairs from the one that we endured under Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and to a much lesser extent, I think, Rishi Sunak.
Absolutely. You know, the brass neck of the Tories, you know. Yes, I good evening, Flummox. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, Andrew, and I totally agree. Yeah, she brought up corruption. But I don't know what I was doing, but I nearly fell off my settee, and I could have been eaten and choked on something when she said that. You know, the brass neck. But yeah, I would say Flummox. I've heard that he's just an accountant. Now, I don't know enough about him to say either way. There's some but I have seen a couple of his videos, and some I'm not sure whether he knows of what he speaks or whether he's just trying to jump on some bandwagon, but I don't know. I'm doing a bit of sexy mic dancing then. But yeah, he absolutely, Barry, yeah, the brass neck of these Tories, you know, trying to highlight Labour corruption. You just think, now if I've said this a few times, if say the Lib Dems were doing stuff like this, you know, highlight, you know, having a go at them for stuff like, they can probably get away with it, won't they? He's an accountant, degree in accountancy, and a certificate as a chartered accountant. Oh, right. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. What happened to the PPE scandal? Yeah. Just like, well, we'll have a little piss take of our Kemi Badenoch's speech where she says, listen to me, I have something important to say. If you want, at the moment, we are going to be doing nothing. Thank you, everybody. Right, we'll see you later. Still, yeah, it was forgotten. It was forgotten. Yeah, about so nothing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they probably. I just think the brass neck of these people who honestly think that. Oh, because yeah, after 14 years of. Good evening, Paul. Paul, Molly. You could try and get my teeth in. Paul McSuffidney. Terrible with my teeth. Donkey Dave did well in his own evening yesterday. He certainly did, didn't he? And he got out the posh whiskey, didn't he? We all had a good giggle. Donkey Dave is a legend, isn't he? Absolute legend. And if you're not subscribed to Donkey Dave, get subscribing. He's the first person you wake up to, and you'll always have a good giggle on a Thursday night live stream. So subscribe to that man, absolute legend, and you'll see him at plenty of rallies, you know. So I suggest you subscribe. Yeah, the real two-tier system. If you're rich and connected, the laws don't apply. Yeah, exactly. I see. I've seen. Now I don't go on Facebook anymore. I stopped going on it since that weird freak had decided that we're going to do away with fact checkers, and I'm thinking, no, that's enough for me, because I've seen enough of my people who I know, their political beliefs are totally different to mine, and well, see it football and people who are and love and respect. You know, you can see their brains turning to mush. Remember when that female Algerian boxer proved one thing, that these people who go about saying Labour don't know what a woman is, you know, then when she was thrusted into the limelight by transphobes like Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling, they conclusively proved that even they didn't know what a woman was. You know what I mean? And I saw some of the most horrendous transphobic nonsense on my feed, and point where I absolutely laid into one of people who followed me, because they were just basically posting utter nonsense. And one of them tried to say, oh, well, there was this Russian organisation, you know, as if you can trust Russia, you know, anything that comes from Russia. You know, they found that one of her muscles is 0.3% bigger than what should be. So that means she is a man, you know. Fucking idiots. And I just, yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Joe left its wife, come off Facebook, and I've not posted. I would do away with it totally, but I've got friends and family that are on it, that I keep in contact with on Messenger. Other than that, I'd do away with it. Anyway, good evening, Evans P. I hope you're well. Love Donkey Dave. We all do. We all think he's absolutely brilliant. He's the first person we all wake up to. Wakey, wakey. And he'll always come back. He'll always leave at the end more informed than what you did when you first woke up. Yeah, absolutely, Alistair. I should say it more often. Hit the like and all that. So you get up to 50 likes. Yes, I'll say I've not really looked to see how many are watching at the moment. But anyway, but he's right. You know, I know people who had to go members only. She's getting a load of flack. One of the best communicators. Yeah, she's brilliant, is Rachel. And I remember before I met Rachel, it wasn't something I would get that involved in. Not because I don't really care, because you know sometimes you just think to yourself, it's something you just don't think about. We all just get on with life. And I remember watching a bit of a program where it were people who had transitioned, and it always stuck with me with this, you know, because like being a bloke, and even when you're a woman, you know, you go out somewhere, you go out socialising, and you need to go to the toilet. I'll just go to the men's toilet, where my wife will go to the female toilet, and my kids will just naturally go to the toilet. And this woman, she transitioned, and she went out, and I don't know whether it's a pub or a restaurant. Good evening, Ali Watson. Oh, I already have done, my good friend Ali Watson. Don't you worry, already done. We have the legend that is David McGuinness in the chat anyway. So no problems. We're all on top of the game here. But anyway, remember this woman, she basically said, as I sat down and got myself a drink, and it just struck me, which toilet am I going to use? She can hardly walk into the men's toilet dressed as she is, and she got to feel comfortable to walk in the women's toilet. And I just thought to myself, I've never thought of that. I actually never thought about that. It's just like something so simple that we take for granted. And in the end, she says, what I did was I just drank my drink, and I just caught the bus back home. And it just, and that stuck with me, and I just think, I never really thought about it like that yet. I get people don't understand trans, etc. But instead of being negative, I wish they'd shut the fuck up and then research stuff before coming back and apologising. Yeah. And I remember at that time I was spitting feathers because some of the stuff I was saying, you just think, it's like when this clown were trying to say, because she's clearly a man because of XY chromes and blah 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 brought this dodgy Russian organisation, and I just thought, am I really going to get an argument? I just finished off with, well, clearly you don't know what a woman is. I just left it at that. But yeah, anyway, we're going off track a little bit, but as I say, I can't remember when I watched this little program, but it just, that little clip stuck with me, and I just think, wow. And you think that people just do this just for a fad? You really want to go through all that? You really want to go through all that just for a whim. Nobody'd want us go through that just for the sake of it. Yeah. Absolutely. Let people be people, and it shouldn't matter to anyone. Yes, so Luke Little is out. Basha, I think he's won enough this year anyway. I don't think he'll be too, well, last year, should I say. I don't think he'll be too disappointed, will he? I know my son is downstairs. He's watching the darts. He watches it religiously. He will watch old reloads or reshows of Bullseye. Can't beat a bit of Buller. But anyway, now this is what makes me chuckle. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Because this is Mike. We've got little two clips here. You know, the absolute nonsense that the terrorists keep touting. You know, what's one of the most used slogans that these clowns use? Yes, we left them the fastest growing economy in the G7. And like you will hear,
we left him the fastest growing economy in the G7. We left.
Yes, yes. Well, on the right, this is just pure brilliance. You're going to watch the hilarious Laura Trott struggle with their graph. This is hilarious.
Of economic growth since the pandemic against comparable G7 countries, it's a very poor record. A very poor record, Laura Trott. Look at the UK. Yes, it's above Germany, which is even worse, but it's behind all those other countries. And that's in the last few years, during and since the pandemic. There is not a good record on growth under your governments.
We had the highest growth in the G7.
For a point. But this, it was a quarter.
Yeah,
I mean, anyone can pick a quarter and say we had good growth then. This is over a period of time since the pandemic. It was not good.
We were turning around the economy. We had the highest growth in the G7 when we left.
Right. But that might have just been one quarter, never to be seen again. You've got to take a longer period. This is from 2019. I think it's the final quarter of 2019 all the way through to this year. And we are behind Japan, France, Italy, Canada and the USA.
And the Labour government came in promising to boost growth. And what have we seen today? Growth is going down.
Him the fastest growing economy in the G7.
Yeah, exactly. Laura Trott, she is just the gift that keeps on giving.
You said it was good growth.
Oh, shut up. She's just the
Rishi
gift
Sunak
that keeps on giving.
We left him.
Oh, shut up. Lights on, but nobody's over here. The house has been burnt. Yes. Yes, nothing in this gave her two in a bed. Yes. Look at what you could have won. I remember when we used to watch it as kids, and you used to laugh, you know, because like you'd have you'd have two big burly men from Yorkshire, you know, bit beer bellied, you know. Come on, wearing vests and ripped jeans, and they were their Sunday best, and that's what they felt more comfortable. They'd win the star prize, and it'll be £100 worth, a year's supply of top-notch clothes or something, you know, fashion clothes, you know, that they wouldn't be seen dead in. Or, you know, if they were, or they won the speedboat, and the two blokes, one lives in Cheshire and one lives in Derby or something. In the middle of a roundabout, and they both don't have a car or something. Yeah. Yeah, Laura Trott was GP, seriously. Yeah. Yes, lights on, nobody's home. Yes, absolutely. House has been burnt down. Yeah. That's you hear about Ivor Kaplan's arrest. No, I haven't actually. I have to say, no, I haven't. Just hold on a sec. I'm just gonna blow my nose because nose is a bit bunged up. Give me a quick sec. That's better. Yes. And you hear it often. That's all they've got now. Oh, we left them the fastest growing economy in the G7. It's just a joke out there, these Tories.
Let's just have a look at this graph. Economic growth since the pandemic.
Shut up. And it doesn't get any better. This is a little bit of a week of the Tories making fucking idiots of themselves. This is Conservative MP Sarah Boole, where, let's be honest, clearly she's been getting her information, well, far too much information, from the right-wing nut jobs like the Telegraph or the Daily Mail.
Does the Secretary of State believe it is fair that undocumented illegal migrants get priority access to the NHS over British taxpayers?
Mr. Speaker, they don't.
Does the Secretary of...
It kind of reminds me of that question that was asked to Keir Starmer. There were two questions where the week before, clearly you've all heard of that Tory MP Roger Gale. You know, quite well respected. He was once a deputy speaker and all that, and so been there for ages, so quite clearly well respected in his own constituency. Quite clearly they said, hey, Roger, here's your question. And it basically says, basically saying, you know, oh, you're talking about these grooming gangs. And he says, why didn't you do the same to the guy who did, who was the owner of Harrods? His name has just escaped me. Why didn't you do more? And basically on the damn lines, and he just says, well, the case never crossed my desk. And he just sat down. And this week's PMQs, I've forgotten the name of the Tory MP. He talked about the Chagos Islands. Had he met the president there or whatever? And if he has he spoken to the president, whoever it was? Just stood up and went, no. I just sat down. And they ask some of the most ridiculous questions, don't they? He's saying that illegal migrants get priority across access to the NHS over British taxpayers. Really? Really? Who dreamt up that question for a... I'd love to know. Yeah, fired, that's it. Yeah, exactly. I'm done, game over. Yeah. She's always on top of her brief. Yeah. Policy exchange. Yeah. Yes. I have to say, Angela Eagle, she makes me chuckle because, you know, when she's got that little twinkle in her eye, hasn't she? She's got that little wry smile where she thinks, I'm going to have myself a little bit of fun. I remember in the Treasury Select Committee meeting where it was Jeremy Hunt. No, sorry, I didn't call him that other name. But I can't remember what they brought up. It was, what did she bring up now? I made a video about it. It was just hilariously funny. And you can see the little glint in her eye where she's having a bit of fun, and you can see him squirming and she's enjoying it. And she was much to the annoyance of the chair at the time. I've forgotten her name now. But yeah, do you know there were a little bit of time, because I don't know if a sister is a twin sister. I don't know, but there were times when I would just. She does look like Ed Sheeran's mum. Yeah. I can see what you mean. But there were times where I would see a sister and I'd think, has Angela Eagles changed the colour of her hair? I did that quick. And I thought, What's... And I said, that's not Angela Eagles' name. Am I missing something? Then I'd have a look. I thought, has she got a sister there? Then I'd add a look up and I thought, yeah, she does. No wonder my brain would go in a bit skibbity-daddle. But yeah, just a quick, but they're not. Yeah, just sit down. They're not going to give you any more entertainment on that nonsense. But but as I say, let's just take the rise. We all know this clown. How much did it grow, Kemmer? Yeah, absolutely. Bye for now. Gotta go now, but I've greatly enjoyed the trip down nostalgia bullseye. Have a great weekend. Yeah, you too, Barry West. You have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for stopping by. And I hope you have a lovely weekend. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm glad you've enjoyed my Friday frolic. Every Friday, 5 or 7. I would do it later, but I know there's a number of other live streams that'll be in the way, and I don't want to, get into their space. Well, 5 or 7 just works perfectly for me. But but I'm sorry, we're going to have to listen to Miss Cease and Desist woman. Yes, the woman who crashed the economy. Oh, I better stop saying this, because I might get a cease and desist letter. Yes, it's our lettuce Liz. We're going to be graced with her infinite wisdom about how we can save the West. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
I think universities have become places where there's groupthink on particular issues, where you're unable to speak out if you're, gender critical or whatever. You're not able to voice your full opinions. I think that has become a part of being part of the left-wing elite, and those people have become more powerful in government positions, even in senior corporate positions, but also in the media. And this is why the ideology is linked to which things people decide to pursue, what they believe, what they report. I mean, the Black Lives Matter riots and the George Floyd, the George Floyd incident was reported far more in the British press than the grooming scandals here. I think universities have become...
Yeah, shut up. Absolutely, Ben Shaw. She's pissed. She sounds it, don't she? That's it. Maria Eagle, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I would look and I think, I would see her, and I'm thinking, has she changed her hair? And then I noticed Maria Eagle, and you just think, what? I'm like, am I missing something? So I went and had a look up, and I think, right, yeah. It's like, sometimes you think, am I going mental? But yeah, Maria Eagle, yeah. Loopy Liz from Planet Stupid. Yeah, you're not wrong. Doctors take the Hippocratic oath to treat all people equal and ethical. Tories take the hypocritic oath treat other unethical and unequal. Totally agree. I just don't think they get it. Because let's be honest, how many Tory MPs, rich Tory MPs, you know, not the Johnny come latelys, you know, your classic Tories. How many of them would use the NHS? None of them, because they would view people like that as just thick as potted plants, won't they? Yes. Trust sounds, yeah, maybe she's, yes, yeah, maybe her and Mad Nad might have had a Mad Girls' Night out and started on the gin. God, can you imagine them two having a mad night out? Imagine what the conversation would be. I bet the night would just fly by. Mad Nad and Lettuce Liz. Oh, jeez. Can you imagine if they did a stage show as well? Jesus Christ. But no, but the thing is, you know, if they did out like that, you know what'd happen. How would Nareen Skinner do both Mad Nad and Liv Truss on stage at the same time? Now that would be a job and a half for our poor Nareen Skinner. She's desperate to get away from Liz Truss, but whenever she thinks she can move on to other pastures, Liz just drags her back in, doesn't she? She will. Nareen Skinner will never be able to escape the ghost of Liz Truss. Well, she, poor lass. Literally day after Jess Phillips had death threats, after most tweet, Truss threatens Starmer with that. Yeah, absolutely. It tells you everything you need to know. But I have. We might get onto a little bit of that later on. But yeah. Now remember what I mentioned earlier on about we had our what you call it, Kemi Badenoch, you know, organising a press conference where she basically says, "Listen, everybody, listen. I've got something to say, something important to say, just to let you know that at the moment we will be, if you want to know what we're up to, you're just going to have to wait and see. But what we'll do is we'll spend a good term of this speech talking the country down." If I were Keir Starmer, I just keep saying when she says stuff like that, I'll just say, stop talking the country down. Why are you talking the country down? You just throw it back at them. You imagine our Kemi Badenoch, she'll be absolutely seething. You know, steam will be coming out of her ears. You know, her head would be ready to explode, won't she? But yes, but apparently she did a speech where basically just didn't say anything, and I did think, shall I get it all sorted so we'd have to? Well, what's the point? She didn't really say anything. I would say the wonderful and talented Matilda Thorpe said more than what Kemi Badenoch said.
I'm making a speech today about the Conservatives rebuilding trust. Trust. Sorry, bit of steak in my teeth. I will acknowledge that the Conservative Party made mistakes. Thank you. Oh, you want more? Oh, okay. Well, we announced that we would leave the European Union without having a plan. And we announced we would lower immigration, but in fact that just kept going up and up. We made it the law that we would reach net zero carbon by 2030. And that ain't going to happen. And we also didn't investigate 40 breaches of the ministerial code, including when I hacked into Harriet Harman's website, who was then the deputy leader of the Labour Party. As a result, we suffered our worst election result for 200 years. That does sound bad, but what about Starmer? I mean, he's a lawyer, not a leader. whereas I'm a McDonald's worker, not a manager of ministers. So in conclusion, with the Conservatives rebuilding trust, I'm just going to blame every Conservative leader that came before me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Brilliant is Matilda Thorpe, yes. I quite agree, Steve Bannon. Yeah, I bet Noreen could do it using camera trickery, yes. But would she be able to have Bodge on there at the same time? I bet she could do it. With her amazing talents, I bet she could actually do it. But she didn't. And yeah, the only thing that she said interesting was she nearly said Brexit was a disaster, didn't she? But now, yeah, no worries, Ben Shaw. You know, thanks for stopping by, my friend, and have a good evening, my friend, and also have a good weekend, and hopefully see you soon, my good friend. Let's be honest. Matilda Thorpe, she said far more than what our Kemi Badenoch said. She just basically just spelled it out, didn't she? She just didn't say anything other than yes, that the governments that are involved in and the mistakes that they made were nothing to do with me, even though I was in government at the time. And I voted for half the shit that I voted for half of this shit that we caused. It's just an absolute joke. It's Kemi Badenoch. Oh, absolutely brilliant. It's Matilda Thorpe. But and like I didn't see Ed Davies' speech where he talked about joining. But at the customs union, or I know it won either the customs union or single market, you know, where he had two people where one's basically dealing in fantasy while where Ed Davies speaking total sense, isn't it? You know, if we want to get the economy going, you've got to start making surges to start rejoining the European Union. Now, I know we've been hearing Labour MPs making surges of trying to do that. Now, whether they really are rejoining through the back door, only time will tell. But the way the government are talking, you would say customs union, wasn't it? Yeah, I knew it was either one or the other, wasn't it? But I just couldn't quite. I didn't listen to the speech, but I remember James O'Brien was talking to the reporter who was there, and they were just basically talking, you know, basically fact, really. Because the longer we're out of Europe, the harder it is for businesses to basically trade, isn't it? But yeah, well done, Matilda Thorpe. Now, this is a little bit of a serious. I don't do this often, but I found this. We all know who this odious little turd is. Yes, I'm not going to play the video because I'm not going to. I'm not basically going to. What's the word I'm after? But I'll just basically show the bit of the tweet that this little turd said. Wait, let's get myself all organised. Yes, this is from Isabelle Oakeshott. Yes, that little turd who's with Little Dick Tice from Refuck. Well, basically, the other day, she basically retweeted this vile tweet from I don't know if it's Cillian or whoever, basically accusing the Welsh Refugee Council of using 12-year-old girls in ads meant to entice migrant men to come to Wales. Most members of this council are from Middle East, India and Pakistan. I'm going to throw up. Well, now did the woman of truth and justice, you know, desperate to hold this government to account and anybody to account, Isabelle Oakeshott, did she put this person did she tell them the error of their ways and say, no, this is not true, you are spreading misinformation? No, she dived right in. She went, this is insane on so many ways. Now, say I'm not gonna play the video because I think the young girls in the school have had enough shit to deal with as it is because of cretins like Isabelle Oakeshott and this other cretin. But and I'd go through was yes, and you could tell some of the shit you've had to deal with. You know, this is sickening. They aren't even hiding who they are. I do wonder if the parents of these children knew about this too. Clearly, totally taken in, and there was so many people. But these were people. But there were other people who, who basically said, "No, I'm not having this." Like Dr. Marina Clark, do you ever do any research before you post an X? This video is a school project targeted towards Ukrainian refugees. It's not an advert for the Welsh Refugee Council. Now, very interesting. All very interesting. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely, Alistair Kate. Yeah. Left-wing elite. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and when I post that, I just put you utter belter. Well, there was an interesting article from the European where it basically said I think I've already registered on this nonsense. Well, no, I can't really do it, so we'll have a scup of that. It don't really matter, really, because it just basically says, well, that doctor just said, yes, she just basically just spread misinformation. Now anybody in there, you could say anybody who's you could say anybody who's realised they've made a mistake, they would where anybody, let's say anybody who realised that they made a mistake, they would, say, well, I know I would say, retract it, say, oh, I will basically say, oh, I've made a mistake, can I apologise? Is there any, if you, good evening, Donkey Dave, hope you're well. Fantastic live stream last night. Yeah, we had a good giggle. Did you manage to drink all that wonderful, expensive whiskey? It was brilliant. But like I say, anybody, if you get something wrong, you would be quite happy to put the record straight. Oh no, not our what you call Isabelle. Our Isabelle, she doubles down. Yes, she doubles down. Saying, evidently the police have learnt nothing from the Alison Pearson debacle. In the in the dark country of ours, the cops are still coming after people for what they call spreading misinformation. And on immigration and other matters, otherwise known as telling uncomfortable truths. Yeah, so, and as you can see, we managed to get a photograph of Isabelle Oakeshott when she realised that she'd been spreading misinformation. She was not best pleased, as you can tell. She was not best pleased. Especially when they realised they were taking pictures of her without her makeup on. Yes. Yes, she looks incredibly cross there, doesn't she? But yes, she absolutely donkey Dave. She is absolutely vile. Absolutely vile she is. Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely. Left-wing elite, where? Yes, you hear it often, don't you? Oh, we're being overrun by the left-wing elite in the media and all that. You think, are we really? Let's be honest. If left-wing were running the media, there'll be plenty more left-wing YouTubers who'll be earning a lot more money than what they're doing now. Yeah, that's Sherry and Gilbert and Sullivan. Yes. Isabelle has a nice head of hair and nothing underneath. Anyway, good evening, Joe. Another one of my fantastic moderators. Hope you're well. She always reminds me of the poison dwarf of Dallas, just much more evil. Yeah. It tells you so much who keeps portraying young girls as possible targets for sexual assault or grooming. Is that how they see them? Yeah. Garth Hawkins. Yes. Party on, dude. Yeah. Thought it was Bocho. Peppa Big World, Peppa Big. YouTube loyalty in the chat. Like a nightclub in the morning. The bitter end, like the recently disinfected shithouse. They are clean around the bend. Clearly. Yeah. Left wing tell me I am a fascist, and the fascists tell me I'm communist, and I tell them all to call me daddy. Yes. Yeah, but yeah, totally agree. Yeah, she is awful. Bojo, party on, dude. Never mind the lockdown rules. Mad Dad has this poster. Oh yeah, I bet she does. Now, this is very, very interesting. You know, like when they were, because like this was on Question Time, and good evening, Spank the Monkey. Hope you're very, very well. Hope you've had a lovely day and hope you have a fantastic weekend. Also, welcome to my Friday frolic, and good to see you, my friend. But this is from yesterday's Question Time. Now, I don't watch it because I think that they're proper gone down the panel, because for a simple reason. Some of the guests they bring on, you know, I'm just like, how many times has Farage been on? Absolute tons of time. And, you know, they always try to say that what they call it, BBC has a left-wing bias. You just think, really? Mental. But say when they were talking about the fastest economic growth in the G7 and what not this and that and the other, and we all know that the real reason why it's tanking is because the Tories, they can't get away from this scot-free. I don't care what anybody says. We can always argue about whether we agree with what Rachel Reeves is doing. But what makes me chuckle is the Tories seem to think that they can, now that they're in opposition now, they can just get away with it scot-free when we all know that they can't. We need the BBC and we want it back, David Attenborough. Yes. But this guy asked a very interesting question. And he basically asks a guy called Liam Halligan. Now, I didn't know who he was until the answer is apparently from the business news editor at GBBiz, so that speaks a lot. That's probably the reason why I've never heard of him, because I don't watch GBBiz. I try not to. But this guy asks him a very, very interesting question. And let's just say, he's clearly so used to having his belly tickled at GBBiz. Well, he certainly doesn't have it here, and you can see him getting rather ratty because like when he asked him this question, he instead of explaining how to grow the economy, he just waffles.
Liam, what's the answer then? You're telling us what you can't do and how it doesn't work. How does it work? There's no money.
The answer is to economic expansion, to get the economy moving, and you're not going to get...
What do you mean by that?
What I'm about to say, Fiona, if you allow me. Getting the economy moving, and I'm afraid you don't get the economy moving when you put an increase in employer national insurance contributions.
How are you going to do it?
I'm getting there.
No, what I'm saying, Liam, you want to get to the point a bit more quickly.
Okay, thank you. Well, when people stop interrupting.
Well, crack on then.
Okay. When you increase employer national insurance by 1.2% and then you sneakily lower the threshold to £5,000, people in the audience know that people are going to employ fewer people. There's going to be less tax revenue. I'm afraid when you whack up the minimum wage by 16% in one hit...
You've still not come to the things you would do.
You tell us what you told us.
The things you would do.
You just don't want to hear it. You just... Destroy.
No, we do want to hear. We do want to hear it.
What's the answer? What's the answer?
You have to make the state smaller. That state has to get out the way.
So is that public spending cuts? Is that what you mean?
This is
and it's
infantile discussion. If you increase the...
Sorry, are you calling that member of the audience
No, I'm saying if you just... It's not about spending cuts. It's about getting the economy growing, and then you can sustain more government spending. Get the economy growing by taxing it less.
All right, well, look, in fairness,
time.
Liam, he gave us his answer by taxing less. That's your view, Cam.
Oh, I do apologise. Just blowing my nose. I didn't want to hear me making disgusting noises down the mic. But yes, as I say at the end, you can say that at the end, what he was left with was tax less. Tax, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know, I realise. My fault, I do apologise. Do you know what? I've been good all through this live stream where when I blow my nose, put the mic, and there's always one time where I make a pig's. But yeah, his answer was tax less. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of tax cuts. So it's just tax cuts, really, isn't it? And it kind of reminded me, I saw a little clip of both, growth, national insurance, state smaller, blah, 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 tax. Yeah, he's got nothing, really, you know. They say they have all these answers, but when you really hold them to account, they've got nothing. And it kind of reminded me, I saw a little bit of a clip of, I've forgotten the podcast that Marina Perkis and Gemma Ford do. And Marina Perkis, you know, they were talking about the fires in California, and she saw a tweet where, you know, these absolute, and she's right, what she said was that fires don't choose to, are not interested in class. If they're going to burn down a house, they'll burn down a house, basically, to that level. And some guy put up a tweet saying that because clearly this guy's a rich idiot, rich clown who wants tax cuts, you know, smaller state, but when you need the public service, you know, like the fire service, is basically saying, can I get a fire service out? I will pay whatever it takes. Yeah, and it's just, you know, when they really need the public services, they're all for, you know, for paying for it, but when it comes to, you know, paying taxes for it, they're not interested, are they? And I just found that incredibly interesting. It's like I just say, Andrew, and you're right. Sorry, because the reason why I was getting annoyed, because he's so used to being on GBBs, having his belly tickled, you know, and just saying whatever, blah blah blah. You know, Rachel Reeves from accounts is bad. This and that. You know, this is what you need: tax cuts, blah blah blah. You know, national insurance smaller, blah blah blah. And if you tax less, then you have less money for essential public services. But that's what the right wing want. They want a US style economy where the poor die and bankruptcy is mainly medical bills. Yeah. That's totally great. Because like we saw a little interview on Talk TV with our racist Rupert, where he basically just said it out loud. You know, basically we should be allowed to opt out of the NHS. You know, because like as Mad Monk said, you know, insurance. They're basically saying it out loud. And I've people on my, before I stopped looking on Facebook, I've one person who I still speak to after football. I basically show up if he tries to get out of politics, because it's wasting your time. If you think, because he thinks that Elon Musk is a free speech warrior, you know, he's for free speech and whatnot, and you just think, well, no, not going to get involved because I can't be bothered. And he thinks he's spent 10, 15 plus years I've known him, following everything that Nigel Farage says and agreeing with everything. But then he basically says he's not in a cult. But that's, as we all know, that's what all cultists say, that they're not in a cult. And if I showed him evidence that reformer into doing away with the NHS, he won't believe me. He would say it's fake news. Yeah, absolutely. Another valid reason why unionists should want independence. Absolutely. Rupert, the man that has trouble reading his own name off a piece of paper, is truly a genius. Absolutely spanked a monkey. Yeah. As a speaker said, utter shambles. And it was. I was sat there watching it, and I could just see myself. You know, sometimes you just get that little bit. That's what I like about you, Reagan Lake. Just go route one, walk. But yeah, I was sat there watching it, and this absolute drivel of a speech about being libertarian and waffling on about that clown from Argentina. What a wonderful job he's doing. You know, the other week we did went through a bit of an article about how well he's doing. You know, the people, you ask the people how wonderful their lives are. I think they would disagree with our racist Rupert. But anyway, let's lighten the mood. Let's go over a little bit of an excerpt. Are you on at 7? Don't worry about it. Reagan elite. We'll be gone by then. And if I haven't finished, what are we gonna do? We'll be finishing anyway. We will get to the. But this is a little excerpt, brilliant couple of excerpts about the space Karen himself, where we have how can I venture into the mad world of, that is, Elon Musk, but with a difference. Anybody heard of the Marsh Family songs? Now these people are absolutely incredibly talented, and they managed to create a parody of Leonard Cohen's Bird on a Wire about Musk's recent spat of diarrhea tweets about the UK called Turd on a Wire. Enjoy, my friends. Get your lighters out there and start swaying, should I say. Absolute geniuses. Well done, Marsh Family songs.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
On a wire, like a skunk in a burning tire, Elon Musk spreads his stench liberally.
Like a worm in the gut that's attached so you can't throw it up. Elon Musk leeches on feed after feed.
Like a cockroach with ADHD, his hot takes on the UK are what we need. Tired of Trump, bored of cars,
can't find fascists to turn into stars.
Even Nigel fanboy Farage now won't take the knee.
Rich man be polarized, angry, impatient, and bored.
I give you the Marsh Family songs.
Got an eyelash right in my eyeball.
I absolutely agree with everything they've said. Absolutely spot on. Well done, the Marsh Family songs. Absolutely. Oh, better. So the thing is, when I was watching that, as being a bit of bit of a guitarist nut. I was sat there watching him play his acoustic guitar, and I'm sat there, yeah, that's a G. Is that a C chord? Is that a yes. Yeah. Clearly, they're far more talented than I'll ever be when it comes to the guitar. But yes. Yes. I see Dennis Pennis is on his way. No, where is my good friend? Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Yeah, they were very, very good. It feels like in some sort of southern country church. What's going on? Yes. Totally agree. But yeah, they were absolutely brilliant, weren't they? Good evening, James Brown. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a wonderful day. Very good, but I just couldn't write this min. No worries. But anyway, I'll say some brilliant clips, because when it came to the situation with this is brilliant. The two great clips talking about the absolute nonsense about Elon Musk. There's Ross Atkins, when he talks about, has had a lot to say about the grooming gang scandal. We look at where they looked at 24 hours on Musk's X timeline and found a range of false and misleading information being amplified, produced by Catherine. Well, it just said produced by Catherine, basically people who do the show. But this is very, very interesting because it gives you a little bit of insight to how he sort of person. I personally think he's not very well. I think he's a very poorly man, and I think he needs to seek help. But this is just, and I think it just highlights that he does need to seek help.
Elon Musk has had a lot to say about the grooming gang scandal. This is his number of posts on the UK and grooming gangs. It's increased sharply in recent weeks. And on Monday, without naming Musk, Sir Keir Starmer attacked those spreading lies and misinformation on the...
See, the thing is, what a waste of time this has been now. Because I was having my dinner on Thursday, and I'm having my dinner, don't know what we're watching, and my wife said, "Oh, are they doing an investigation in grooming gangs?" I'm like, well, not that I know of. And we said, well, according to Yvette Cooper in Parliament, yeah, they are. And I think, what? And I remember for the day I was spitting feathers because I'm thinking, you fucking idiots, you absolute morons, because let's be honest. It doesn't matter what they're saying now. They've backed down, haven't they? They've absolutely shit the pants and backed down. And do you know the first thing that Chris Phibbs said, and that's all that people will take out of that, that they've backed down, is that, will the Prime Minister apologise for those who he accused of jumping on the bandwagon and being far right? And... So, well, how can he accuse us of jumping on the bandwagon when he's now done the same thing? I just think, you fucking idiots. I was spitting feathers.
Response to the grooming gangs. We've analysed Musk's timeline on that same day, Monday the 6th, from midnight to midnight GMT. There were 153 posts. This includes those written by Musk and those by others that he shared. 33% of them were on US politics. 48% on the UK, and nearly all of them about grooming gangs. And these posts contain a range of false information. At 8:12 on Monday morning, Musk posted that former Prime Minister Gordon Brown sold those little girls for votes. Later he posted Starmer was deeply complicit in the mass rapes in exchange for votes, a reference to when Sir Keir Starmer led the Crown Prosecution Service. There is no evidence that Gordon Brown or Keir Starmer sought to obstruct justice for political gain or for any other reason. At 12:45 on Monday, Musk shared this screenshot. It says, here is a list of MPs who voted against deporting rapists. He calls this unconscionable. But this has nothing to do with a vote. It's a letter signed by a group of MPs in 2020 about the planned deportation of 50 Jamaican nationals who'd received sentences for various crimes, in some cases for rape or sexual offences. The MPs wanted a postponement until a report on the Windrush scandal had been published. There were concerns about the deportation of foreign-born offenders who came to the UK as children. Later on Monday afternoon, Musk made reference to that time Starmer called Donald Trump a racist. We can't find any evidence Starmer has ever called Trump a racist. Those are 4 examples. We could have included others, and Musk has continued to post about the UK. This is Andrew McIntyre. On Monday, he was jailed for his role in the summer riots. Musk shared a post on this, adding, "Over 7 years prison for social media posts. Whoever gave that sentence deserves prison themselves." This is misleading. McIntyre's social media posts include calls to attack Muslims, Jews and non-whites. He set up a Telegram group that was used to organise the Southport riot and share multiple other targets for rioters. When detained, he was carrying a knife. When his home was searched, weapons and a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf were found. It's not 7 years for social media posts, it's 7 years for encouraging violent disorder and criminal damage, and for possession of a knife in a public place. On Monday, responding to a post about the grooming gang scandal, Musk wrote, "Utterly unacceptable. No one disagrees with that." But Musk is amplifying a slew of incorrect and misleading information. His concern about the subject doesn't extend to being truthful when addressing it.
Absolutely. Spot on. Spot on. See, the thing is, I'd be interested to say what Jess Phillips thinks now, because my thoughts is I would be spitting feathers now, you know, because after what she's had to deal with, I get the feeling made her look like a right prat now. I would be tempted if I were Jess Phillips to say there's been a letter of resignation. Cheers, Kia. Cheers. Thanks a lot. You know, it's like it's like when it came to these MPs, you know, that clearly the transformation from being in opposition to being in government, they're struggling to deal with it because apparently they've been getting avalanched with emails and whatnot. So I think their backsides have fallen out quite clearly. And what annoyed me even more, you know, you have people like us, you know, who I would say were probably or to the left of this Labour government, and saying we agree. Why do we need another inquiry, national inquiry? It's just going to more money and more time and effort for another 7 years or 8 years, whatever, to get the same result. And we've been defending them only for them to back down and make us look like complete and utter idiots. And it's coming to a point where I'm starting to think, Labour, you deserve everything you get. And yeah, quite clearly, Billy Kershaw, just act what you're so afraid of. You know, I just think grow some balls. Because from what I've heard, the clown up in the Oval Office, he does actually respect strength. If you show him strength, he will respect. If show weakness, he'll just walk all over. Yeah. Janie Ball, my old man is diabolical. He's really a rubbish guy. He groomed a girl as I got high, but I love him so, as you know, he gave me lots of money so I can talk about grooming, unless it's my dad. Yeah, exactly. But this, I have to say, this is what I say is a brilliant. Right. This is a brilliant little. Well, we all love Ian Hislop. He's just a national treasure. Well, he has an interesting interview with about Elon Musk, and there was something he said there. There's something there is something in there that he said that I'd forgotten about, and I think he brought up an interesting point, which is very, very interesting, which I think we all should have seen coming when you think about it.
Well, I mean, it's almost impossible to avoid him, and he has enormous power because of his money, and B, his reach to people who have been persuaded over the last 5 years or so that the mainstream media hasn't covered any stories, and that the only people who've noticed anything happening in the world are people sitting in their bedrooms sending messages to each other. It's an amazing feat of deception. And I think we should have got on to him early on when he quite gratuitously called someone who was trying to help those boys in Thailand a paedophile. An American court let him off, the pedo guy.
Absolutely. I'd forgotten about that until he mentioned it. I thought, yeah, we should have cottoned onto how depraved this man was. Yeah, this guy who had the absolute disgusting depravity to try and rescue some boys in an underwater cave or something, if I remember rightly, and he decided to call him a paedophile. And he just got away with it, and he's spot on. I'd never really thought about it until he mentioned it. He's just a national treasure, is he, in Islam? He's just brilliant. He just absolutely, as he spanked the monkey. I must have missed that one. I do watch the last one I watched of him when he was watching the interview where Cenk Uygur debased himself, whatever it was, that right-wing nut job where he's there trying to sell the Young Turks to Trumpers in his desperate attempt to grift for money. I thought that was the last one I've seen of Karl Kalinske, and I just found it very, very interesting. I totally agreed with everything Karl Kalinske said about Cenk Uygur, and he didn't mince his words. But yeah, that's something I'd forgotten about until he mentioned it. Spot on is in Islam. She usually does stuff like this, isn't it?
And I think he thought from then on, I can say anything I like. It doesn't have to be true. It's better if it's not true, and no one will stop me. And that's what's happened.
We've seen lots and lots of powerful media figures over the decades and centuries, probably the Rothermeres and the Murdochs and so forth, but we have never had somebody like this who is tweeting, speaking in his own name several times a day, many times a night.
No, I mean, and it's not merely that he's a sort of a classic social media adolescent who hasn't grown up. I mean, the temper tantrums, the lack of responsibility. Yeah, I mean, the whole business was set up by a group of ungrown-up men who are now running companies in their own image. And to see them now sucking up to Trump when they were quite happy not to suck up to him before, purely on the grounds that this is to their commercial advantage. They have no morality at all. Literally none.
No. And if we were having this conversation 48 hours ago, we would have said, well, in the end, it's only one organisation, it's only one part of social media, it's only X. But since then, Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook and Instagram and Threads, has come and done exactly the same thing, saying he is going to mimic Musk, in effect.
Yeah, and I didn't know until I watched an interview where apparently on Facebook they have more people on Facebook than they do than X does. I didn't know that until I'd found out. But so that's one of the reasons why I don't go on Facebook anyway. But hello, Martin's Room from Spain. Welcome to my Friday Frolic, and hope you're well. Even that a little bit late, but better late than never. And I do hope you've had a lovely day, and I do hope you have a fantastic weekend. But yeah, I didn't realise that until I heard an interview saying that Facebook has more people, more eyes on it, you could say, than X, which I didn't know until recently. You learn something new every day, innit?
Yes, and I mean the idea that you have this vastly powerful organisation, and about 5 minutes ago it was very important for you to have moderators and fact checkers, and now because you want to suck up to Trump, you don't, is appalling. And Bezos is exactly the same. His newspaper in the States has just pulled a cartoon, you can see where I'm coming from here, in which all the tech bros are seen worshipping at the shrine of Trump. And then the newspaper, oh, no, we can't publish this. It's repetitive, it's boring, we don't want to publish this. I mean, who do they think they're kidding? Yeah. We're in a sort of an era of total fatuity.
This is a real problem for everyone involved in journalism and involved in politics. You either suck up to Musk, or you're abused by Musk. Neither of these things are terribly attractive. He is already tweeting approvingly what Kemi Badenoch has been saying in the House of Commons a couple of hours ago, for instance.
Yes,
so this goes on and on.
Yes, I was very excited that he's supporting Kemi Badenoch, because that means presumably by the time most people hear this, he'll have attacked her. It is the only positive sign is that the ridiculous Musk-Farage falling out may be a preview of a Musk-Trump falling out.
Well, I think that's the only possibility, is that he is going to blow up. Possibly, I mean, he's got J.D. Vance to contend with, who also thinks that he's vice president, and that's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yes, and I think Musk has just noticed that quite a lot of MAGA supporters don't like immigrants, including ones from South Africa and India and the rest of the tech boys. They don't want these visas to go through, and they're racist in a very particular way, which isn't entirely to Musk's taste.
So we can't ignore him, we can't mimic him, we can only sit him out.
I think you either sit him out or refuse to take him seriously, which I think is, unsurprising from me, is the best idea. I mean, there's a cartoon in this week's Private Eye in which there's a man talking to someone dressed in full SS regalia, and the SS man is saying, look, you can't just call everyone who disagrees with you a fascist.
I mean, this is going to be a problem for you, however, Ian, which is that Musk is such a grotesque and weird figure and produces so much material that your entire publication is going to be Musk from beginning to end if you're not careful.
Yeah, well, then we tell him to the Telegraph.
Very good.
No, I'm hoping that one of my problems is I've been editor a long time, and in the old days we used to break stories, and nowadays we spend half the time pointing out stories that aren't true. So when you get Musk pretending to be a champion of women and young girls, and then he calls Jess Phillips an evil witch, I mean, how's that on a scale of medieval misogyny? Is that part of it?
That's straight back to the ducking stool. It's gross. Yeah. Grotesque.
He is riddled with contradictions, and at some point I am hoping that even his followers will begin to notice that from sentence to sentence he makes no sense.
Yeah, it's absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Yes, Martin Rubes. Yeah, I tend to have it 5 or 7. 5 or 7. The only reason why I do it because I know Reagan likes to have his show on at 7. And I think there's what they call him, Maximilian Robespierre. He has his show at 8. Well, whatever. So it just jumps in nicely. But yeah, no worries, Stephen Bankers. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, I'll be clocking off in a minute because I don't want to run into our good friend Reagan Elite show, but I do want to finish off with one last video. Yes, absolutely, you can stroke it, caress it, tickle it, or even press it, and it's entirely up to you. But like I say, Martin Drew, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we'll see you again. But also, I will leave with one last video as a bit of a tribute, as a tribute to you could say a comedian, and I noticed my good friend Andrew Luke is in the chat. Good evening, my friend. If you're not subscribed to Andrew Luke's channel, get subscribing. If especially you enjoy all stuff Doctor Who, he's brilliant and stuff like that. Absolutely. Wake up and smell the report on Windrush. Where is it? Yes. But anyway, let's finish off before we head off to to a Reagan Elite show, which is a tribute to the late, great Tony Slattery, who passed away this weekend. And this is Tony Slattery seen with Hugh Laurie in the Cambridge University Footlights Review, 20th of May, 1982. And let's watch the bit of humour with Tony Slattery. Oh dear. Brilliant. Rest in peace, Tony Slattery. Thanks for all the memories, and you'll be sadly missed. Oh, that's it's come to the end of my Friday frolic. Just want to say thank you to my fantastic moderators, and couldn't do this without you. So thanks for everything you do. Hopefully see you next week, and I'll probably bob in soon and say hello to our good friend Reagan Elite, which he'll have started about now. So you might like. Yes, I don't worry, Simon. I will let her see it. Don't you worry. But I just want to say thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully see you on Reagan Elite's live stream pretty much soon. Have a lovely weekend, and thanks, moderators. Take care, everyone, and bye for now. Bye-bye.